video based on this explanation.
All right, so ask your question one more time. I want to be sure that I have your question right before I actually
Yeah,
answer it.
yeah. So how does a person who plays fighting games like as their primary source of income, where does the money come from? Like,
Okay,
how do you
okay,
stay
that is a very,
the main goal?
very, 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 very. I can't stress this enough. Very, very, very. Look, let's just pretend I said very 637 times. Niche,
Yeah,
very niche demographic of people who are able to do fighting games full time, and I'm going to tell you why. So, as it stands, fighting games, once again, I can't stress this enough. 637th power very niche community, which is already divided between which games you play. Because not everybody plays every game. You got some people who only play Street Fighter. You have some people who only play Dragon Ball. You got some people who only play the Smash Brothers. You got some people who only play the Mortal Kombat, and stuff like that. Like you got very, 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 very segregated communities at times. And don't get me wrong, there is some overlap. There are people who play multiple games. There are people who are top level at multiple games. But that's the thing. For you to make a living off of this, you have to be playing a game that has a world tour that pays out the big booty bucks. I'm talking you get big booty bitches on the one side, and then you get big Mandingo warriors on the other side. All right, I'm trying to treat it for both audiences. All right, so you got the big booty bitches and then the Mandingo warrior tribes type of money. Like we're talking like you have to be in the money. And the way to be in the money in a lot of these tournaments, whether it's pro tours or whether it's just a major or even regionals, to make money to offset your cost if you don't have a sponsor, to offset that, usually you got to win the whole tournament or at least get top 3 in order to offset the cost of even traveling to the tournament. Because if you're getting a room, let's be modest. Let's just say we're modest pricing everything. $200. Let's say eating, travel, all that other stuff put together. We're talking like, round trip flight. We're talking about, eating. We're talking about Ubering back and forth to places, In the past, let's just say, be generous. That's only $350. So that's
very generous.
Yeah, that's $550 in a very generous estimation, right? Now, top all that off with the fact that you're in there. You're registered for your game, which usually costs another $10. But once again, we're not going to count that in this modest, estimation of number here. So there are tournaments where you could have like 1,100 players, and you get 8th, and you make like $200. There's sometimes where you get 8th and you make $85. Sometimes you make 8th, and you do offset the cost, but you make like $1,200. So you went plus $700, which isn't necessarily bad. But that's definitely not something you're going to be able to make a living off of, because that means you're going to have to go to at least 2 tournaments a month, get top 8 in all those tournaments, and hope all those tournaments have the exact same type of payout. And at that point, you're only making $1,400 a month, which for those of you keeping score at home, $1,400 a month is kind of less than minimum wage.
Yeah, so you need a sponsor, right? So how do you get one?
Okay, so getting a sponsor. I actually made a thread about this today, so I'm glad you asked this question today.
Nice.
Okay, so getting a sponsor is not necessarily as hard as people make it out to be, but it is difficult to find one that is worth having, because there are a lot of sponsors out there who, I don't want to say they're scam. Saying they're scam is very, very disingenuous, but there's a lot of them out there who will do this thing where they have nothing to offer you. They can't give you a jersey. They can't even send you out to an event. They can't even give you food money. You just represent them. They just give you a jersey and you just say, I'll be an advertisement for you. That is it. That is all you do. Everything else is coming out of your pocket. They can't even give you equipment. You need a webcam for your stream? They can't get you those. That you need a Elgato green screen for your back? They can't get you those. The only thing that they've ever been able to get you is, you can have this jersey and or t-shirt, and we'll give you a promo code that makes us money, and that's it. That there's a lot of sponsors that, air quotes, sponsors that do that. They're not a sponsor of you unless they are financing you. That's where the sponsorship part comes in. You can be an affiliate of someone. That's what the stream team, that's my favorite buzzword, the stream team. You know, yeah, you can be part of our stream team in which your audience becomes our audience, but we're not going to have too much crossover in terms of our audience becoming your audience for your growth.
Yeah, that sounds like being a prospect in a biker gang or something, almost.
Yeah, you know, you're a rook. You're not mean anything. You're not giving any value to them, whether you leave or whether you stay. But a lot of these contracts that a lot of people are signing for these sponsors who do nothing for them, they sign them and they're locked up for like a year and a half, to the point to where, like, if another sponsor gives them a better deal, they can't even entertain the offer because they're locked up with this other sponsor. Because a lot of people don't read their contracts, and that's more on the players and the people like that than it is the shiesty esports organizations or sponsorship organizations out there. But I digress. Moving past all that, the real issue when it comes to making money is that the FGC is a very grassroots thing. And you got to remember, there's people out there who bust their ass every single week, some every single day, hosting locals, hosting a venue. And there's people out there who claim they want to support the scene and see the scene do better, but have never once, not once, gone outside of their house and gone to the local that's 2 minutes from the house. There are some people who live a hop, skip, a jump, and a roll, just one little body rotation revolution over from a local. And they won't go. And they won't go not because they don't know about it. There's a lot of them who won't go because, and I quote, "The $5 venue fee is just too much." Or they'll say, "I don't want to pay for a venue fee if I can't win." And it's like, even if you could win, you still wouldn't pay the venue fee. Because here's the thing. Any tournament that you've ever entered, you probably never won. You probably never got top 8, and you never probably placed in the money. Therefore, it's irrelevant on whether how much money is being offered in the pot, because you weren't going to see it anyway. Which is a really, really flawed argument that a lot of people make on why they don't go to locals. Because they'll be like, "Well, even if I won the local, you know, it wouldn't offset the cost of me traveling out there to the local." And it's like, bro, we could have a tournament in a McDonald's, and I only invite people from the McDonald's who are in the McDonald's at that time to enter, and you probably would still go O2. You would still struggle to make top 8 in the McDonald's. But you're going to sit here and tell me that you're not going to go because the prize pool's not enough. That doesn't make any sense. That genuinely does not make a lick of sense. But that's what they'll tell you, and it's really dumb. But you said, how do you make money? To finally answer your question. I'm sorry it took so long. Anyways, to finally answer your question on where the money comes from, it comes from building a fan base and building an audience of some kind. Like, for example, when it comes to content creation, like, there are a few people who are able to do it full time. There are some who are able to do it and have a somewhat healthy amount of people follow them. Some do it via controversy, like Low Tier God, and some do it through having a darn near infinite plethora of content that's edited, well put together, has nice, like, ticks all the boxes, crisp audio, good visuals, you know, never miss a beat, which would be something like Maximilian. Whether you think he's the most informative channel out there is up to you to decide. I don't think he's the most informative, but that's not a shot at him. That man has such a cavalcade of content. Like, all right, you can go to his channel right now. Actually, let's go to his channel right now. I'm just gonna pull up his channel right now, right? And you'd be like, all right, let's see what he's got on his YouTube page, right? So you go to his YouTube page. Don't worry, it's not going to be on the screen. I'm just going to tell you. You're just going to take my word for it. So in the past week, if we're just going to videos that were a week ago, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 videos in the course of a week. And the games that he plays, let's see what we got here. We got Monster Hunter, we got Resident Evil, we got Killer Instinct, we have the Final Fantasy VII dating game.
Final Fantasy VII dating game?
No, I think he's actually just playing Final Fantasy VII, but he titled the video "The Dating Game."
Oh yeah.
So
it's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah. So then he has, like, you know, weird indie games. He's got the Power Rangers fighting game. He has, what else is down here? He has Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite online match. He's Mortal Kombat 11. And, like, these are all stuff that are just in the past 2 weeks. He's got retro stuff. Like, he has content that rolls out from his stream every single day. And we're not talking like just on average 5-minute videos. He's got 20, like the average video here is like 20 minutes. So like you have oodles and noodles worth of content. Like he's able to do this full time. And one of the reasons why he's able to do this full time is because, I mean, let's face it, his stream just rakes in the dollars. Like having your own audience and being self-sufficient and not having to worry on other stuff makes things so much easier, whether it's the $100, $200, $300, $400, and in some cases on his channel, $2,000 donations. Yeah. Trust me, pal. Like once you start getting to that level, and then, you know, obviously having your own, like he has his own podcast, like the Yo Video Games podcast, which is like him and, you know, a group of guys.
A couple of his friends, and his wife, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and they make $400 off that via Patreon per month. So, you know, they got a little bit of hand in it. I don't think Maximilian gets that money, by the way. I'm just saying that a couple of his boys, obviously, you know, they do that. They have a podcast, which also finances
also, a lot
itself.
of his friends stream themselves.
Yeah, and you know his friends stream, and you know they cross promote. You know, there's a lot of things that go on into the system, and you got to remember he started off with this Marvel like series, which was like this live action like tutorial. Like wasn't it called like Assist Me? I believe it was called.
Yeah, Assist Me.
Yeah, and they had the cosplay, and like there was a whole lot of moving parts, and like you had to do something to be on that level in order to get the attention of the fighting game community to have a self-sustaining channel. Like other than that, like the only other people who you really know have self-sustaining YouTube channels are, you know,
Max.
That's who we're just talked
Jay
about.
Wong.
Like Jay Wong, like, you know, he's got a whole bunch of advertising revenues coming in now.
I think King J can sustain on himself.
I don't even know who that is. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not even gonna hold you on that.
But he represents more or less the European scene because he's from Britain, so he sustains relatively.
What's his name?
King J-A-E.
King J.
Mm-hmm.
All right, he's got 44,000 subscribers, and I'm not saying that that's low by any substantial means, but that's not self-supporting money. That's not live off this and do nothing else money.
Oh.
The question was asked was, how do you have live on your own and just do this money? And the only person who's really doing that is Max. But yeah, King J, I see.
I mean, if we're talking people who have gone to tournaments, then yes, I would argue that Alpharad probably is starting to make a lot of that money because he's nearly at 2 million.
But that's because of Smash. So, like, you could say the same thing about like that's not really FGC shit.
Well, the thing, like, if you're talking specifically fighting games, then it's probably just Max. I'm sure there are a couple others that I may not know about, but there are other people who are doing the hybrid. They have content creation. They have a good sponsor that takes care of them. Like, either A, gives them a place where they can just game. Yes, there are sponsorships who will actually just go out of their way and buy a house. I'm pretty sure K. Brad has talked about that on his stream a couple of times. There are sponsors who will legitimately do big things for you so you don't have to worry about anything but performing. Like Smug. His content creation is getting off the ground. He's building his YouTube subscriber base, and a lot of the stuff he's doing is just posting the online matches that he would already have been playing. Like a lot of times, getting started in content creation is just record the things that you were normally going to do anyway. I'll give you a fine example. Some people in this call right now, y'all are artists. If y'all,
Me, for example,
if
I'm
y'all
a full-time
just,
artist.
yeah, if you just recorded a blank canvas when you're drawing, even if you're just drawing a commission, and then went on YouTube and then put, like, you know, go into your video editor and just like take the recording of your screen and like speed it, like time lapse, like, so make your 6 hours worth of drawing a 6-minute video, and just have like some synthwave music in the background, and you just did that every time you drew something, content.
You might be onto something there.
It's literally
Well,
something
that-
you already do.
The only problem with that is you'd have to draw tame stuff.
I
That's
sometimes
fine.
do. It's
Anyway,
I don't
good.
only draw like non.
I don't know, Plague of Gripes gets away with some risque shit, but I'm pretty sure you don't get paid for it.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
Probably
you,
gets demonetized.
well, that's the thing. You can also, you know, condense it down to a 2-minute video and post it on Twitter. Content.
Good point.
You don't have to necessarily use YouTube. And that's the other thing. If you want like a sponsor to take you seriously, you don't have to be a top tier percentage player. You don't have to be someone who's always in top 8. Sometimes being sponsored just be like, hey guys, I stream. Hey, I'm verified on Twitch. Hey guys, I'm verified on YouTube. Hey guys, I have so and so amount of subscribers. Because I'm telling you right now, this is one thing I've learned in my little tenure in the esports realm, and when contracts are negotiated between, you know, conventions and stuff like that, they don't care how good of a job you do. They care about subscriber numbers. I'm not going to say which con in particular. I've told this story once and, you know, gave out names and everything, but I'm just going to put something into perspective for you guys. There's a group of gentlemen who have about 40,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers, right? And they ran a tournament at this con. It was buns. It was bus ass. It was hot gobbledygook and garbaggio. But even though they had 3 systems, one of the systems blew up. Therefore, they only had 2 systems. And then they tried to run all of Dragon Ball on 2 systems. But then one of the systems didn't have all the DLC. And we were playing on big screen TVs with a whole bunch of input lag. Because they would do it, they didn't want to hear anybody else. Even if they were proven to have more setups, more experience, better presentation, and all these other bells and whistles, if their subscriber count wasn't 50,000, they didn't even want to talk to you.
Damn.
So some people, they would rather have the quantity of subscribers as opposed to the quality of work. So if you're wondering why people say clout is the new crack, that is a perfect reason as to why.
Oh yeah.
All of that work just for a drop of clout.
Yeah, I kind of understand why they would do it, because
I mean, I get it. They think it has more outreach, for one, and they were like, well, if it has more outreach, then that's all we care about. And if people think...
It's also, if you really don't know anything about the topic, then that's like some kind of metric you can look at and draw some kind of conclusion.
Well, here's the thing. They don't even look at, like, the metrics. Like, they rather just see... We would rather have a tournament that runs like absolute trash, but in charge of someone who is popular, than have something that's run smooth, but ran someone by a group or someone who's not as popular. Yeah. Like sometimes just having the subscriber count gets you in the door. Like that is why you'll see a lot of these YouTubers who are gigantic sacks of dog shit as human beings get second chance, third chance, fourth chance, fifth chance, 28th chance, 637th chance, because their audience trumps whether they're right or wrong.
Yeah, and connections too, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot of that happens. But to continue answering your question, like I said, King J, I'm sure he's well on his way. I mean, he's got, a lot of Tekken 7 content. I'm looking at the channel now that Rock has brought it to my attention. And yeah, he's a content creator. He has matches. He does something that I was telling people that if you really know the game and you want to practice commentating, here's one thing you can do. Boot up a tournament, any tournament that you haven't watched yet. Put the video on mute and just commentate it like you're watching it for the first time, because you are watching it for the first time.
Fun.
And that's a good way to practice your commentary, especially like in a game where you may not necessarily be able to see high level play all the time. Now you have it in a condensed format that you can just practice. And that would make things very, very easy for you. Or personal favorite, and this is something I'm going to start doing, so I'm sure some of you are going to take my idea. But that's fine. It's cool. It's whatever. I just want a 10% finder's fee. Anyways, so for fighting games, VOD reviews. VOD reviews, VOD reviews, VOD reviews. And VOD reviews are simply, you submit a VOD to me, and what a VOD is you take a recording of a set of games that you played, then you upload it, you'll call me up, or I'll call you up on Discord, and we will go match by match. Everything that I think you did wrong, what you did right, and what you can improve on, and things that you might want to look into changing about how you play for you to get better.
That's a really good idea. I think there's a lot of people who want that kind of tactical analysis of their gameplay.
Because I kind of did it a couple of times for Overwatch. Somebody did it for me for Overwatch because, like I said, It's easy when you're like, people who are in like bronze, silver, and gold, and you're like, oh, what did I do wrong? It's very easy to spot those. But like if you're in plat and diamond, you may not actually know what you're doing wrong because it's just something that like you haven't thought about. So you need someone with, dare I say, bigger brainstem in this game. The masters and grandma, and they'll tell you stuff like, okay, first of all, your whole team is going in the wrong direction, or there'll be a call out that was made. It's like, okay, so your team distinctly called out the Mercy. So why are you shooting at the Ana right now? Even though you got the kill confirm on the Ana, true. The Mercy got away because you didn't do your job in focusing the target that they called out.
Yeah.
But it's something to where your brain was like, I killed one of their supports. Therefore, I didn't do anything wrong. But then somebody who plays more than you and plays better than you would be like, you didn't focus the right one because the Ana doesn't have a mobility skill. You could have killed the Mercy and the Ana because the Mercy Guardian Angeled away when you could have stopped that by focusing her. And then you could have turned your attention to the Ana who has no other support backing her up, the aforementioned Mercy.
Yeah, totally understand what you mean.
Yeah,
I've had my games like that analyzed in the genres I play more, which is MOBAs.
yeah,
And it's really useful. Even if I've played thousands of hours, I've played a lot. But it's still very useful to have just another pair of eyes look at your gameplay.
Exactly.
Viewpoint.
And the other thing about fighting games I think is kind of interesting that I don't know how many people have like really thought about this. But a lot of people, when they're playing a fighting game, I don't know how many of you have noticed this about yourselves, but you ever got to a point to where you immediately just feel like you plateaued and like you just can't get any better? Like you just feel like you just hit that rock. The reason why a lot of people hit that rock is because they've optimized the way that they wanted to play the game. Not how to win, not how to play a matchup. They've optimized how they wanted to play that game. They got this idea in their mind that this is my play style and this is the only, I'm not deviating from this formula at all. Like there are some people who will pick a character who is primarily a zoner, a keep away character, but they want to play rushdown. They want to get in your face. They want to use like weird frame traps that aren't necessarily going to guarantee you damage. They just want to be in your face the entire time. And like they'll win a bunch of their matches, and then when they lose, they'll argue, "Oh man, this is garbage. This is trash. It's so difficult to play this matchup," when they're not even playing the matchup right. Because in their mind, they've already put it down that this is how you're supposed to play the character, even if they're completely wrong.
Yeah, I play characters wrong all the time, but I try to be conscious about it. And when it's like a try-hard situation, I don't do it then, because I think playing stuff wrong is fun.
Like with fighters, I used to play Broly like really aggressively, and I had somebody tell me, stop doing it. A lot of his stuff is like really unsafe.
You don't have to bet your life every time.
Yeah, sit there and shoot blasts at him. He has like the best key blast in the game. Let them come to you, and then when they come to you, they have to fight your armor on your terms.
Or what was it? There was a bit of commentary that I did during DragonCon for Mortal Kombat 11. And that's an ad, and I don't want that. And there was a specific point where there was a player who was playing Sonya, and they were getting zoned out by a Shang player. And they had the Sonya player had the life lead. And the Shang player, I had observed, only wanted to play rushdown. Just wanted to get in there and press forward 2, forward 2. Didn't care about nothing else. That was their game plan. And I'm just sitting here like, Sonya player, you don't even have to try to walk through their labyrinth of fire. You have the life lead, and it's clearly obvious that this player wants to come to you. Just let it happen. You don't even have to play half the footsie game because they're walking towards you all the time. And they don't ever neutral crouch, so you're back one. You can back one your way in. You got your staggers. And then as soon as I said that, and unfortunately because the way DragonCon had the layout, if you were playing, you could probably hear where the commentators were.
Oh yeah,
we were pretty close. And the Sonya player after the match goes, "I'm glad you were commentating because I wouldn't have won that match had I not heard you saying, you don't have to do that. A couple of players were like, man, I didn't even think about that, because Flowchart is the guy that got, I believe he got second in MK11. He got third in Dragon Ball, I believe. But he got second, and he was like, bro, you saved me from that Cetrion, because I didn't know about that. And what he didn't know about was, if you block the first ground pound, you can jump the second hit. And his mind was blown. He was like, I thought if you blocked the first hit, it was guaranteed. Like, you had to hold that. And I was like, no. You've never had to hold that. And he's like, what? His mind exploded. But point is,
yeah, those things happen.
Like, sometimes you just need another pair of eyes that might know the game a little bit. Like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and like toot my own horn like I'm the greatest, compendium of knowledge for Mortal Kombat 11. I'm sure there's characters out there and variations out there that I'm like, excuse me, you do what with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing. That's just one thing. But
yeah, of course. But you can fill someone else, like fill in their blanks, and they can help you fill in your blanks, and
exactly,
everyone helps each other.
Exactly. But there are a lot of people out there who intentionally don't stream or record their videos because they want to hold on to this secret tech, this secret heat.
No.
And here's the thing. That's fine if this was like 2008, 2009, or the old times of the 90s and the early 2000s, because back then, having any sort of footage on you would actually hurt your chances of winning the game. But there's so many tools out there to be a better player now. Like, you can probably find 5 top players who play your character who have videos. You could probably find people who have written comprehensive multi-page guides on your character. There are people who, like, if we're just sticking with MK11, you got Ketchup and Mustard, you got Maximilian, you got Sonic Fox uploading VODs of, there's so many different resources where you don't even have to do any of the lab work yourself. There's too many resources out there for you to be butt at these games. Too many resources to be butt at any of these games. There's too many.
It's a choice.
Yeah,
it's not something that happens to you.
Being raw EX booty cheeks in games now is a choice. That's just how it is. But other than that, okay, I didn't mean to click that.
Pride is what drives you to be bad at games usually.
So
yeah, because you don't want to help.
The best way for content creation or to get a sponsorship would, honestly, if you're asking me to get a sponsorship, would be this. If you're a content creator, show it. If you write articles about the FGC or you write articles about esports in general, show it. If you, I don't know, because there's a guy, I want to say his name is Red Raptor, who has a website that has all the frame data and comprehensive guides on a website for Mortal Kombat 11. I think it's called Combat Academy, so look that up if you haven't seen it. I'll probably put the link in the description as well. Show it. Showcase that. Show them that you do that. Not only do you play the game, you have such a deep understanding of it, you can write guides for every character. Like, showcase that. If you're a content creator primarily, like, hey, I content create, I have da-da-da-da-da, certain audience, da-da-da-da-da-da, this is what we do, da-da-da. And then, some organizations will be willing to work with you just off of that alone. Or, some companies will just give you sponsorship just because they're like, oh, we see that you're growing, and there's a symbiotic relationship that you can have with a company of some sorts in order to do whatever it is you're trying to get off the ground. Like I said, it's not always an easy fit. It's not going to happen overnight. But a lot of times, for a lot of you, in order to start content creating, it's literally just recording the stuff you already are going to do anyway. Like, for example, I play a lot of online ranked. I have online ranked videos that spawn back a decade now. People like them. People watch them. People share them. It's great. It's fun. It's good. It's fine. But it was something I was going to do anyway. And there's no excuse now because every console on the planet that has fighting games as a main component. So obviously, sorry guys, not Smash, but even Smash technically in and of its game has a way for you to record your matches without you having to buy a capture card. PS4 has a DVR. Xbox One has a DVR. OBS is free for PC. So it's very easy.
OBS is great.
Yeah, so it's very low resource, so it's very easy to record your own footage no matter what game you're playing. Is my point. And even Smash has a match record feature now, so yeah. There's no excuse to not do it, but other than that, it's fine.
Those are some good words of wisdom. I can even apply to them to different crafts than just fighting games and gameplay. Like the thing you said about making videos and stuff, I might actually give that a spin. Because that's how my so-called art career even started. I just made stuff I would have done anyway, and just posted it. It works across different fields.
I mean, why not double dip if you can? You're already gonna do it. Might as well just post it and see if anything comes from it.
Exactly. Like, if you're already gonna make it, you know?
Yeah.
You might as well just record it. But other than that, yeah, I think that about answer your question.
Hell yeah. Really good answer, and thanks for taking all that time.
No problem. If we can't help people learn, then what is the point?
Yeah, exactly.
And those are just the facts. But yeah.